Council meeting. Before Mayor Parker calls the meeting to order, we ask that you please silence all electronic devices. For those of you who have requested to speak, there are two podiums in the chamber. The podium in the back is for individuals with mobility concerns. We ask all others to step forward to the front podium. Each podium has a countdown clock located to the speaker's right that will indicate how much time is remaining. A bell will sound when you have 30 seconds left. Speakers registered on the consent agenda items will be taken following the announcement of any items being pulled from the consent agenda. Speakers registered on non-consent items other than public hearings and zoning cases will be taken following council announcements. Speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak on all items within those blocks that they registered to speak on. Before you begin your comments, please state your name. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to your Fort Worth City Council meeting. I'll call us to order.
Today's invocation will be given by Murali Krishna from the Hindu Temple of Greater Fort Worth. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledges of allegiance.
ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये दीपं ज्योतिपरब्रह्मा दीपं सर्वतमोपहं दीपेन साध्यते सर्वं पूजादीपं नमोऽस्तु ते ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्माम् अमृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः निषुसीद गणपते गणेशत्वामा विप्रातमं कवीनां नरुदे त्वत्क्रियते किञ्चनारे महामर्कं माघवं चित्रमर्च श्रीगणाधिपतये नमः Om. May we all be protected. May we all be nourished. May we work together with great energy. May our intellect will be sharpened. Let there be no animosity amongst us. Om Shanti. From ignorance, lead me to truth. From darkness, lead me to light. From death, to lead me to immortality. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Mayor and Council, we have a request to move up an item that is MNC 230801, located on page 15 of the agenda. That will be our first action item.
Thank you, Jeanette. I think we have one speaker on this item. Am I correct about that, Jeanette? It's listed under our agenda. Hold on just a second, everybody.
Sorry, let me have him, we'll call him. Give me a second.
Okay, thank you. Let's do that first before we call the agenda item.
I didn't realize he was.
Bear with us on technology here, ladies and gentlemen. Any luck, Jeanette? That's okay, Jeanette. We'll just keep rolling. Council, as a reminder, this is an item we continued from 2 weeks ago out of questions from a few council members. This is really a project for the entire city, but it pertains to Council District 8 in terms of where on 901 Sycamore School Road there'll be a deeply affordable housing project. I can turn to Councilmember Nettles, but there may be also questions or commentary from our council members as well. Councilmember Nettles.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate you guys bringing this up to the top of the agenda for today. I believe the last time we took this vote, they were at the very bottom of the agenda and was with us until like 10:30 at night. So, but today we are excited to bring this project back again. And some of the questions that occurred last time was public permanent supportive housing versus affordability housing. And one of the things I like about this project, because when we talk about permanent supportive housing, there's really two ways that we can deal with that. One, we can make sure that we build permanent supportive housing, of course. And two, is we can do preventative measures to make sure individuals don't become homeless. And so this project is one of those projects that, number one, makes sure the individual that does not become homeless. So if you are facing homelessness, single mothers with children that are struggling and having a hard time, Justin's Place is a place where they will receive you. But one of the other things that they are doing that's so miraculous about it is that they would take referrals from the Tarrant County Homeless Coalition. And so they are great partners willing to work with the city of Fort Worth. They have received funding from Tarrant County to do this project as well. Victor Turner, thank you for all the hard work that you did to find this project and make it work. Fernando, we appreciate your due diligence on this. And so I'm excited today to approve this project. That's my motion to approve for $1.5 million from the ARPA funds to make this project happen in District 8.
I've got a motion and a second. Councilmember Beck, and then Councilwoman Hill.
I think I'll defer to Councilmember Hill first, thanks.
Well, first, I want to thank Perry Pillow, Donna Floyd, and Maggie Crockett for coming today. I appreciate the work that you do with Justin's Place. It truly is transformative for our city and for the clients that you serve. I appreciate staff answering my questions. Part of my concern last time was the inconsistency at face value of moving from permanent supportive housing to deeply affordable housing. One, I want to challenge this council that we need to, if we're going to make homelessness a priority, that we need to come up with a plan together and have conversations together on how we can address emergency shelter as we move into the winter months. And then also, how do we keep our citizens from being homeless? And that's a bigger conversation to have, but we need to have that conversation. And then lastly, I think there was a lot of disagreement on council at the very end of that meeting, and I just want to make sure, and this is my perspective, that we all treat each other with respect and kindness. I know we're going to disagree over a lot of things, but I think we can have really good, constructive conversation and be respectful about it. So thank you.
Councilmember Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. I supported the substitute motion the last time this council met on the topic, only because there were questions, and it was obvious from the dais on it. This is not any indication of lack of confidence in Justin's Place. They do a specific mission and a role. I've read up on them even further. It was never the issue. The issue was process. And to echo what Councilwoman Hill also said, I challenge staff to be absolutely clear in their processes when they come to council and offer a recommendation. I think there was some level of disconnect there. The council is tasked with giving direction to staff. If we're unclear in that regard, that's on us, and we need to clarify. The homelessness is a dynamic and growing problem. And this council has said before and currently, that's what we intend to address. There are different ways of doing that. I'm supportive of those ways and looking at them. Again, my comments are relegated to process. Let's be clear, let's be consistent, and outline the focus and the priorities.
Thank you, Carlos. In closing, I think it's already been said, but again, thank you to Donna and your entire team for getting us to this place. For those of you that have been following the ARPA distribution of dollars, especially when it came to homelessness funding, we've had an excellent partnership with Tarrant County. I know that Commissioner Brooks is going to be honored here today. Thank you, Commissioner, for being a leader on the Tarrant County Commissioners Court to make sure that we're putting the money towards the right projects. And this is something that really reflects that partnership. We've done an excellent job in this community and across Tarrant County of making sure these were one-time dollars for projects that really would have a sustainable advantage moving forward. And I think this is a very good example. As Councilmember Hill already articulated, this is a tough topic because we know that we have families in crisis. We have over 40 families living in cars at various times throughout our community, and that's not okay with me. And I know it's not okay with you as residents here. So these types of projects will be more important moving forward because these are the types of homes that offer not only a safe place to live, but all the services, especially that a single mother and her children deserve to get back on their feet and earn a living wage and be able to put a roof over their head. And so I've got a motion and a second on the floor. Before we vote, our City Attorney Leanne Guzman wanted to say just a few things.
Yes, just to put on the record that previously our office's advice was for Councilmembers Crane and Williams to recuse from this vote. We've taken another look at that, and due to the particularities of the funding of this particular situation, our advice has changed, and so they are free to vote on the matter.
Got a motion on the floor and a second. Any other discussion, council? Councilmember Bivens, are you okay? I'm just making sure you've got your light on. You're good. Okay, please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be the special presentations, with the first one being a presentation of proclamation for 30-plus years of dedicated service of Commissioner Roy C. and Dr. Jennifer Brooks.
I believe this is Councilmember Nettles is going to do the dedication of service, but if you would like, the both of you could join us down at the dais, that would be perfect. Thank you.
Yes, I'm excited to do this. Has truly been a role model for me. I worked alongside with Commissioner Brooks when I worked with the Justice of the Peace in Judge Lisa Woodard's office, and so I have seen firsthand. And I'm seeing his team here. We're missing one person. No, I guess his other team person is up here with me. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to honor Commissioner Roy Brooks and Dr. Brooks. And I know we have some Harambe leaders that are here as well. I'm going to say hi to you guys. We're excited about the Harambe Festival that's getting ready to take place. All righty. Fort Worth Proclamation Office of the Mayor. Whereas Roy Charles Brooks stands at the forefront of one of the most fast-growing urban counties in the United States. Tarrant County has served a population of approximately 2.2 million residents. For over 30 years, Roy has represented his community as a community volunteer, a city elected official, and a current Tarrant County Commissioner, Fort Worth, Precinct 1. He embraced the core values of integrity, innovation, and the growth. And whereas Roy Charles Brooks is committed to the health and welfare of the people, Roy catalyzed the establishment of many programs, initiatives that include the Tarrant County Ex-Offender Reentry Program, Team Help, which address health disparities in African-American communities, Latino, Asian American communities, the Tarrant County Infant Mortality Council, and the Healthy Lives Matter, and initiatives focusing on annual prostate cancer and autism education and resources. He is the co-founder for the Tarrant County Nurse Family Partnership Program, a program for low-income mothers that provides support and advice for expecting moms and families. And I will tell you, there is a longer list, but we don't have a full month to read these lists off. And so we just go a short list. Whereas Dr. Jennifer Brooks began her journey as an education advocate at TCU, where she earned her bachelor's and master's degree in speech, and later earned her doctorate from Texas Women's University. And her extensive community involvement includes serving on boards of Performing Arts, Fort Worth, Texas Health, Harris Methodist Hospital and Communities Impact, Visit Fort Worth, and TCU, UNTHSC, Schools of Medicine Diversity Standing Committees. She has been honored an Outstanding Woman of Fort Worth and an Outstanding Texan with Bank of America Local Hero Awards. Now, therefore, the city of Fort Worth does hereby recognize and celebrate 30-plus years of dedicated service, Commissioner Roy Charles Brooks and Jennifer Brooks in the city of Fort Worth, signed by the mayor and all of council. And I, thank you. Go ahead. This is truly a duo team. We're excited. Thank you, Commissioner Brooks and Dr. Brooks, for your work in our community. Please have some words.
Thank you, Councilman Nettles, and all my friends on the Fort Worth City Council. Y'all do great work, and it has been my privilege, Mayor, to partner with this council on many projects over the past 18 years of my service as County Commissioner for Precinct 1. That service has a sell-by date. And that sell-by date is rapidly approaching. I have announced that I will not seek a 6th term of office. 5 is plenty. Serving as County Commissioner for Precinct 1 has been one of the high points of my life. That, along with marrying this very special woman, and finally having a grandchild who is now 3 months old, that about covers the high points of my life. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for this recognition, and thank you to the Harambee Festival Committee for recognizing me and Jennifer as your couple of the year.
Mike, I can't miss the moment to say something. So I got to meet Commissioner Brooks and Dr. Brooks when I was 24 years old, when my husband dragged me here from Austin, Texas. I think it's taken hold, as you might imagine. And there are people that you meet, especially in public service, that stick with you, that transcend partisan politics, and you can tell they are there for all the right reasons. And I believe strongly that there is no better statesman for our community than Commissioner Roy Brooks and his beautiful wife, Dr. Brooks. So thank you both for your service. We appreciate you very much.
I was looking for you today. Where's my councilman? There you go.
Yes.
You said, I'm not gonna sit back there, right?
That's more like it.
Everybody look here in the center. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Did everybody get the pictures? Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Love y'all so very much. Thank y'all for all y'all do.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. As always. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Hey, Gina B.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Next will be a presentation of proclamation for the Byrne Construction 100th anniversary.
Mayor Pro Tem Bivens, this one is yours. I know you're proud to present it.
I most certainly am. And there will be no photo bombing.
In other words, this is her proclamation. Don't come take a picture. Yeah.
This company is very special to me, and I'm going to read the proclamation, but you guys can come on down and gather around. I have the larger font version here. Whereas Thomas S. Byrne Incorporated, a distinguished construction company firm, was founded on July 17th, 1923 in Fort Worth by the visionary Thomas Sneed Byrne, a native Texan and an esteemed alumnus of MIT. Now, why this is so special to me is because I see my papa on this picture with that leadership team. I will try to keep from crying. Where's Ben? Get on over here. Everybody has to come. If you get a check from Thomas S. Byrne, come on down here with me. Whereas from its first milestone project completion in 1928, which was the Montgomery Ward's regional headquarters, to its innovative contributions recognized with the Build America Award back in 1972 for the revolutionary construction techniques utilized in the Kimball Arts Museum in Fort Worth. This company has consistently exceeded expectations and set new standards for architecturally significant and high-quality projects. And whereas a new chapter began as John Avila, he's not here because he's playing to be retired. You think, is he up yet? Okay, I got you, our secret. John Avila passed on the mantle of leadership to his sons, Matthew, Matt, raise your hand so folk will know who you are, and Paul, raise your hand, Paul, who have since taken on the roles of CEO and COO respectively, carrying forward the legacy of excellence, quality, and services for the next generation. And whereas the remarkable journey of the Thomas S. Byrne Incorporated Company from its humble beginnings in 1923 to becoming one of the largest construction services firm in the state is a true embodiment of dedication, innovation, and community-driven values. Now, therefore, the city of Fort Worth does hereby proclaim and celebrate July 17th, 2023, as Byrne Construction Services' 100th anniversary in the city of Fort Worth. And for what this company has done for our city skyline, everybody should applaud. Is that the skinny Lynn? And I can't leave here without saying something nice. You hold the plaque. Yes, ma'am. Anybody last name Byrne, take to the microphone.
I'm not sure I can be as eloquent as Commissioner Brooks, but I'll do my best.
On behalf of the Byrne family, past, present, future, just want to thank the mayor and council for helping us celebrate our 100th year. In 1972, I was a baby, so, but it's been a real privilege over these last 15 to 17 years that we've been involved to participate in the long and storied history of Byrne and the city of Fort Worth and our community, and we're really excited to celebrate the next 100. Thank you so much, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt.
The next proclamation will be a presentation of proclamation for the 80th birthday and 33 years of service of Reverend Ralph Waldo Emerson, Jr.
Councilmember Williams is going to present this very important proclamation. Reverend Emerson, if you'd like to join him at the podium, you may do so.
Mayor, we should say welcome back.
Mayor and council, thank y'all for this opportunity. I wanted to take a special point of privilege in bringing this proclamation to council. A few weeks ago, I celebrated the actual 80th birthday and retirement party, if you will, at Pastor Emerson's church service. And let me tell you, the spirit was high. There was folks doing laps around the church, including me. And so it's certainly evident of how the Spirit continues to move in the life of Pastor Emerson and his fellowship. I wanted to share a verse that really speaks a lot to me when thinking about Pastor Emerson, and it's Jeremiah 3:15. It says, "I will give you shepherds according to my heart, who will feed you with knowledge and understanding." And Pastor Emerson has did that and served not only faithfully to his ministry, but also to our community and city. And I also wanted to take this point of privilege to recognize Pastor Emerson for being one of my favorite District 6 residents. I have many of them, but he has been a wise counsel not only to his fellowship and to the city, but also to me as I continue to serve in this capacity. And so I wanted to take time just to share the proclamation that we presented to him, and then yield the floor for him for any remarks that he has. Whereas Reverend Ralph Waldo Emerson Jr., a Vietnam veteran, celebrated 80 years of life and has retired after 33 years of dedicated service to the Rising Star. And whereas in 1987, Ralph Waldo Emerson Jr., his wife Gladys J. Emerson, and his family relocated to Fort Worth, Texas. Reverend Emerson was hired as the first African-American Park and Recreation Department Director for the city of Fort Worth. He served in this capacity until 1990, when he accepted the call to pastor full-time. The Rising Star Church was organized on September 13, 1931 by Reverend Smith Carey. During its 90-year history, the church has had only 3 pastors, and now 4 with Ralph S. Whereas Reverend Ralph Waldo Emerson Jr. transitioned his service to the community from city department to serving the membership of Rising Star Baptist, the neighboring Stop 6 community, and serving on various city and county boards and commissions. His service has included the Crime Control and Prevention District, City of Fort Worth Ethics Review Commission, Fort Worth Botanic Garden and Botanic Research Institute Master Plan, and Tarrant County Hospital Board of Managers. And whereas for over 3 decades, Reverend Emerson has unapologetically served God, his family, his country, and the Fort Worth community. He would transition to Pastor Emeritus and continue his service to the Fort Worth community. Now, therefore, the city of Fort Worth does hereby recognize and celebrate the 80th birthday and 33 years of service of Reverend Ralph Waldo Emerson Jr. Just before I pass the mic, I also want to recognize Reverend Emerson's wife, Gladys, who's here, his daughter, Deidre, and also his successor and son, Ralph S. Emerson. Would y'all please stand and join us at the podium?
To Councilman Jared Williams and to the mayor and council. Wow. I was trying to calculate the years where I stood here my first time to be the director of Parks and Recreation, and then leaving the city and becoming director of Parks and Recreation, Pastor Rising Star. I didn't think I'd be back here anymore. I miss the city, but I don't miss the city. But it has been a pleasure. I thank you for this proclamation this morning. As I said to our church, I have retired from serving as lead pastor, but I've not resigned from work. And I thank those who asked me, Fernando, to serve continually in the city. And then I got hired on by Commissioner Brooks to serve on the board of managers for JPS Hospital, and now am the longest serving board member for the County Hospital Board. But I thank you again for the proclamation, and I'm really honored today and excited that my two siblings, my son, who follows me in ministry, and my daughter, who follows me in public service. That's an honor for me. And I want to say thank you so very much. Thank you for staff. And if I had anything, I wouldn't trade these two for anything in this world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Council, before we move to the next item, we're going to actually move up M&C 0805 because Councilmember Williams is about to leave for a funeral, as I believe Councilmember Nettles is as well, and Councilmember Bivens. So let's move to that item, Jeanette.
Okay, so the next item will be MNC 230805, and Mayor, there are no speakers on that item.
Thank you. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to pull this item, given its significance to District 6. This MNC is a partnership with TxDOT to be able to bring a much-needed traffic signal at the intersection of Risinger and Garden Springs. I want to first thank staff for all of the work that you've done to improve safety along the Risinger corridor. And this is just another step to ensuring that we continue to improve the safety of all of our major arterials, not only in District 6, but I know this council has been super focused on that all across the city. So with that, I moved for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. And motion carries.
Okay, so that will take us back to special presentation for National Service Dog Month.
Okay, this is a fun one because dogs are more well-behaved than humans. We already knew that. This is an important recognition that this is the month of National Service Dog Month. Many of you have understand the critical importance of these amazing canine companions across DFW, and we thought it was important to recognize their importance for a variety of reasons. And whereas Canine Companions is a nonprofit organization that enhances the lives of people with disabilities by providing expertly trained service dogs and ongoing support to ensure quality partnerships. And whereas Canine Companions and their service dogs can help individuals live their lives to the fullest by providing best-in-class training, cutting-edge research, and a deeply committed community of support. Whereas Canine Companions believes in joyful, transformative power and the power of human-canine bond. Whereas National Service Dog Month aims to educate our community about the benefits of service dogs and the laws protecting them. And whereas the City of Fort Worth continues to work toward becoming an inclusive community in which all residents and their service dogs are respected, we encourage all residents to celebrate genuine service dogs and be respectful to the adults, children, and veterans who lead more independent lives because of them. And now, therefore, the City of Fort Worth does hereby honor and recognize September 2023 as National Service Dog Month. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen.
We just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for recognizing this as Service Dog Month and recognizing the difference that service dogs make in lives of people with disabilities. So we appreciate it.
This is for y'all. Thank you. Or for them.
No pictures, please, right?
Perfect.
Okay, everybody can look this way. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Closer, precious.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. I feel like we need emotional support animals on our hallway, don't we?
Next will be a presentation of proclamation for Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Councilmember Beck.
Good morning. I'm going to invite some folks to join me here today. Derek Ross from the Wichita Nation. If I call your name, just come on down. Leroy Pena, representing the Lipan Apache of Texas. Diana Parton, representing the Caddo Nation. Amanda Smith, representing the American Indian Business Association. Jessica Johnson, representing the Beyond Bows and Arrows radio show, which is the longest-running American Indian radio show in Texas. Alicia Hughes, representing the Texas Native Health Association, our group. Elizabeth Gravel, the Fort Worth School District American Indian Education Program Director. Eddie Sandoval, the Spiritual Advisor of the Indigenous Institute of America. Haley, is Haley here? No? Okay, good, because I'm going to butcher her name really bad, and I don't want her to be here when I do that. Cheriello, President of the Native and Indigenous Student Association at TCU and an enrolled member of the Cherokee Nation. Samson Dewey, the President of the Native American Student Association at UT Arlington and an enrolled member of the, oh, help me out here. Can you give me the name of your tribe? The Northern Paiute. Northern Paiute, thank you. Pablo Montez, Assistant Professor of Curriculum Studies at the Department of Counseling, Social Change, and Inquiry at TCU. Wendy Sierra, Associate Professor of Game Studies at TCU and an enrolled member of the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin. Linda Tuggle, City of Fort Worth Diversity and Inclusion Department Program Specialist and enrolled member of the Mandan Hidasta Ukira Nation. Did I get that right? There we go. Okay, well, sorry about that. I'm gonna try it. Okay, y'all can come in closer. You don't have to, I don't bite sometimes, not today. Whereas a growing list of American institutions of learning, cities, and state governments are now recognizing Indigenous Peoples' Day or Week in an effort to create a path of healing, reconciliation, and an accurate representation of state and local history. And whereas present-day Fort Worth has long been home to Indigenous people, including the Caddo and the Wichita. Those settlements bordered the Trinity River and seasonal encampments of the Lipan Apache, Kiowa, and Comanche. And whereas Fort Worth has a responsibility to work within its power to correct the historic racism towards indigenous peoples in Texas and in the United States and protect the cultural history of its residents. And whereas Fort Worth is known as Cowtown, has proudly built its identity upon being a place where the West begins, and the inclusion of indigenous peoples of the area is paramount to that history. And whereas the city's commitment to equity and diversity includes the provisions of opportunities and honor for our nation's indigenous roots, history, and contributions through indigenous peoples' knowledge, labor, science, philosophy, and the deep cultural contributions that have substantially shaped the character of Fort Worth. Now, therefore, the City of Fort Worth does hereby recognize and proclaim the 9th of October, 2023 as Indigenous Peoples' Day. And before we take a photograph, if anyone wants to come up and speak.
Mayor and council and everyone here, thank you so much. And while this is not my first time to attend one of these, this is probably my proudest as a Fort Worth resident. So thank you all so much.
My name is Derek Ross. I'm a member of the Wichita and affiliated tribes. It's Wichita, Waco, Tawakoni, Kichai. Sutits, thank you. Atstits Nasa Takwakar, we're glad that you came.
Thank you. All right, I want to get a picture. I'll let you hold it. Get close. Oh, if y'all want to come on down and get in the photograph, you're more than welcome to.
My name is Diana Parton, and I raised my children here in Fort Worth and moved to Plano 3 or 4 years ago, and I can't wait to get back to west of the Trinity. But I wanted to say how surprised I am at the diversity that I've seen here at this council meeting. I was involved with the council and a long, long time ago when Jim Lane sat on the council. That's how long ago it was. And I really appreciate the diversity that I'm seeing here and the youth that I'm seeing here. And one of the reasons that I worked so hard to pull this together and to help Veronica with this is to make sure that the leaders of this organization understand that we are a very diverse and powerful and impactful population. And we are here. We do exist, as you can see. And all of the entities that came out to support us and to support this effort have been here for decades. So as the council and as you guys begin to spend money on these new projects, and you begin looking for diverse contractors and diverse business owners, we're here today to remind you that there is a huge amount of successful American Indian businesses that can participate in the things that are going on here. And don't forget about us, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have a fellow councilwoman here, so.
Oh, good.
Hello, my name is Rachel Salinas. I'm a councilwoman for the Lipan Apache Tribe of Texas. Just wanted to say on behalf of our chairman and our tribe, thank you for this proclamation.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Mayor and Council, the proclamation for Manna Day, North Texas, I believe is being rescheduled for October 17th. So our next proclamation will be for Hunger Action Month 2023.
Councilmember Martinez.
Mayor and Council, it is my distinct pleasure to present this next proclamation to the Tarrant Area Food Bank in recognition of Hunger Action Month. Julie Butner is here to accept. the proclamation, not only did I benefit from this organization throughout my childhood, I have also given back, be it through donations or through volunteering my time at events, and I truly believe in its mission to empower our community to alleviate hunger and improve health. Thank you to Julie, Jared, and the rest of your team for all that you do to take care of those in need, be they individuals or families in the city of Fort Worth. And so Julie, as I read this proclamation, if you can come say a few remarks, and then I'll come down for the picture. Whereas hunger and poverty are issues of vital concern in North Texas, where 1 in 6 people face hunger and 1 in every 4 children do not know where their next meal will come from. And whereas the city of Fort Worth, Texas is committed to taking steps to combat hunger in every part of our community and to provide additional resources that those in our city need. And whereas the city of Fort Worth is committed to working with Tarrant Area Food Bank, a member of the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks, in educating people about the role and importance of food banks in addressing hunger and raising awareness of the need to devote more resources and attention to hunger issues. And whereas the month of September has been designated Hunger Action Month in order to bring attention to food insecurity in our communities and to encourage the public to join the Tarrant Area Food Bank's efforts to alleviate hunger by taking action, including volunteering, donating, and advocating for hunger-ending solutions, to ensure every community and everybody in it has the food that they need to thrive. Now, therefore, the City of Fort Worth does hereby proclaim and celebrate the month of September 2023 as Hunger Action Month.
Thank you.
Julie, you're welcome to say a few words if you'd like.
Great. Yeah. Thank you very much, Council. I just want to say how much the team appreciates your example, leading by example by volunteering, but also by supporting the Tarrant Area Food Bank as you have done over the last 40 years. It means a great deal to us. And for everybody in the audience, I encourage you to take action this month. This is Hunger Action Month. If you can volunteer, please come down and volunteer. We count on over 25,000 volunteers a year to help us do the work that we do in the community, and we appreciate you very much. Thank you. Yeah. This is so awesome. I'm going to share this today at the team huddle.
Good.
So they'll all get to see it. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. We appreciate you being here.
Next will be items withdrawn from the consent agenda.
There is one item to be withdrawn from the consent agenda. That is MNC 23-0800.
Items to be continued or withdrawn by staff.
And there is one item to be withdrawn. That is ordinance 23-0617, and that's being withdrawn at the request of the developer.
Mayor, next will be consent speakers, which I believe we have one.
Thank you. Adrian Smith by phone.
Mr.
Yes,
Smith.
Adrian Smith. Hello, Adrian Smith. I am one with the people. And Mayor, before I conclude on this particular agenda item, I would like to speak on the item I signed up for that you fast-tracked. I was online. You all system needs to play catch-up, so I need the opportunity to speak on what I signed up for.
Yeah, Adrian, if you would like to, go ahead. That's MNC 23-0081. I guess you probably knew we did approve that item, but if you would like to go ahead and say a few words on that, that'd be fine. Thank you.
Yes, all I want to say regarding that particular matter is that I had signed up to speak, and I had signed up that I was for that particular agenda item. However, I think with the ARPA funds, you all could have allocated more, but you all are not able to allocate more, considering how you wasted a vast majority of it. Now I know Justin's Place requested $4 million. You only allocated $1.5 million. So I think that that was a slap in the face to what they are trying to do, considering that duplexes, and this is no knock on what Justin Place does, but duplexes are not meant for long-term housing, you know? So I believe that if you all would not have squandered a vast majority of the $173 million in ARPA funds we received, they could have got the $4 million that they had originally requested. But anyway, I digress on that. Hopefully people will stop using homelessness as just as a political talking point and get serious about homelessness, because we're not just talking about the current homelessness we got. It's the new homelessness, that's on the rise. And you always are real vocal as it relates to the growth of this city. But Mayor, the same way we're growing is the same rate that our homeless population is increasing. So I want you to keep that in mind. And to Justin's place, again, I think you should have got the $4 million, but again, this council squandered the vast majority of the $173+ million we received from the federal government. Okay, so now I'm ready to speak on the other item. Let me know when I can go.
You're still rolling with time. You got 40 seconds.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yeah. Adrian, you'll come back, just for clarification, you'll come back on the non-consent agenda. You'll have another 3 minutes at that point.
No, ma'am. You took my consent item. You can't take my consent item.
Adrian, you have
and
30
push it back.
seconds as the chair of the meeting. Please just continue your remarks, and we'll bring you back for non-consent. You've got 30 seconds, 25.
Mayor. You're so disrespectful. Never mind. You're so disrespectful, Mayor. I'm going to stay on the line, though. You're disrespectful.
That's fine. Great to talk to you. Good morning, Adrian.
Okay. The next item will be MNC 23-0800. Oh, sorry, you need to vote on the consent
consent
agenda.
agenda.
I'm moving on.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
Okay, so the next item is MNC 23-0800.
Sorry, yeah, I just had to delayed there for a second. I think we've got a motion on the floor. I need a second, council. And then Councilmember Crane, go ahead.
Yes, due to my wife's employment, I've been with Child Care Associates, I've been advised by legal counsel I should recuse myself from this vote, so I'll be abstaining from voting.
We've got a motion and a second, council. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries, and thanks to Habitat for Humanity for all of your work in Fort Worth. We appreciate you.
Next will be announcements by city council members.
Councilmember Flores, you're up first.
Thanks, Mayor. All right, first slide. September 21st, this is Hispanic Heritage Month, and we're celebrating in a variety of ways across the city. So I want to thank folks that came out to the Best Years Club at the North Tri-Ethnic Community Center for the SSA celebration for 60 years or older folks. Seniors enjoyed, great food, awesome music, played bingo, loteria, and had door prizes. And I know she's not in the audience. She's probably up in the office. She asked me not to do it, but Myra, my district director, did belt out a few tunes. And I was very impressed how she could carry a note. So I thank her for participating in that celebration. Next slide. All right, Positive Strides Northside Race 2023. This is the first inaugural race organized by Gabe Arredondo and a group of volunteers wanting to create interest and passion in running there in the center of the Northside community. So they had a 5K and 1 mile races. Yours truly did not, because I had to run off to go have a game with my boy at soccer practice. And Jack Carvalho, our district director, also participated and ran, did a good job. Thank you, Jack, for doing that. And proceeds from that race went to 2 local high schools, Northside High School and J.P. Elder School, and the coaches were there on hand to receive those. Thanks very much. Next slide. Okay. Checked out what was going on in Sundance Square as far as cars and culture, are concerned. This is in Council District 9, and there were spectacular cars and great people on hand displaying the cool rides, totally restored rides. It was very impressive to see how many folks, came together to make that happen. And you also had different nonprofits there that were doing prostate screening and other wonderful things for the community. Next slide, please. All right, also part of Hispanic Heritage, we had the celebration September 16th with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and their gala celebration celebrating 50 years of doing great things for our business community. So I was among those that was recognized, and I want to say that it means a lot to me to be recognized with all those great folks. So thank you to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and all the other awardees. Next slide, please. September 17th, there in the Stockyards, we had a celebration for the Fiestas Patrias Parade in collaboration with CITA Fort Worth and the National Stockyards District. Appreciation to Old Gringo Boots, who held a little get-together right before the parade. If you haven't checked them out, they have great handmade boots. And appreciation to all the entries who participated. I don't know what the attendance numbers were, Stella, but you can report those later to council. Next slide, please. All right, the United Lowrider Council had their own get-together for first responders and military appreciation, Chill and Grill at Marine Park. So they just decided to put this together and help out those who serve us in a variety of ways with brisket, burgers, hot dogs, ribs, and appreciation to What It Is Barbecue. Next slide. September 21st, okay, volunteering Ontario Food Bank for Hunger Action Month, just like our CM Martinez recognized. I was invited over by our council member Jared Williams to come by, do a Spanish radio interview with Radio Luz of Dallas, and rolled up my sleeves, helped them out, volunteer. 24,000 pounds of food were prepared for needy families, and that's something to be said. So thanks to Julie, Jared, and the rest of your board. Next slide. September 21st also. Staff from the city of Fort Worth and I went to the 52nd Annual North Texas Commission Members Luncheon. And this featured a discussion with Governor Greg Abbott and former Secretary of Army Pete Guerin. Aerospace and defense industry executives were there on hand, and that was at the Frontiers of Flight Museum. Enjoyed that very much. Next slide, September 23rd. At Revive Coffee, now that it is called Portico Coffee, we had a Coffee with a Cop event, and we had Northwest Division come out. A big thanks to Cassie Warren and Jacob Warren for hosting that, and to Noble for pouring the invigorating coffee. And there were several other staff from Northwest Division that were there, too many to name, but appreciate everyone who came out and had some great discussions and great coffee. Next slide. September 24th, Dreaming the Cure at Diamond Hill Jarvis High School. This organization has been active since 2010. And the purpose of this nonprofit is to raise money and awareness to fund research to cure pediatric brain tumors. And that's affected a lot of people in the Diamond Hill community and abroad. You know, we had members from Cook Children's there, Dr. Murray, who said some words and accepted those donations. So appreciate Dreaming the Cure for doing that, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilmember Crane?
Sure, I have two quick announcements. The first one, very excited to announce the groundbreaking of Fire Station 43 out in Walsh. This has been a long time coming, guys, and we need to get services out there to the west part of Fort Worth. So you join me, join the mayor, October 12th, 10 a.m., do that groundbreaking. Very excited about that. Next slide. And if you want to join Tunnels to Towers, if you don't know, this foundation does a lot of great work. They'll do their fundraising run October 14th, 8 a.m. at Clear Fork. This is founded by a guy named Steven Sillers, who was off duty on 9/11 and saw the towers and got the word and ran into the fire and died in the towers, saving other people. And so now this foundation that's here in Fort Worth, it's all over the country, raises money to pay off mortgages of the fallen, scholarships for their children. So join Team Crane. If you want to reach out and join it, 817-392-8803. Call our office, and I'll give you the website. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Hill?
Just two quick announcements. The Amon Carter Museum will host its annual Party on the Porch on Saturday, September 30th. This is a free event. All ages of those attending will need a ticket to get in, and for more information and to register for your ticket, go to cartermuseum.org. And then on Wednesday, October the 11th at 6 p.m., there's going to be a public meeting at 1300 Gindy Street in the Scott Theater. Invited development firms will present their preliminary proposals to redevelop the city-owned property. The development firms will be selected by an evaluation panel consisting of city department heads and civic leaders. and the city encourages public participation as this is a public meeting and an important step in the process. You're welcome to submit comments and questions during the public meeting. Thank you.
Councilmember Beck?
First up, we have the inaugural State of the University for UTA's luncheon. Myself and several elected officials from around the region got to hear the changes that they're making to that university. And I'm proud that UTA is one of 4 college or universities that call District 9 home. Next slide. All right, we've got a new hotel downtown. I'd highly recommend everybody go and check it out. It's a beautifully redone historic building and a Sandman Hotel. Next slide. All right, had the opportunity to attend the Wedgewood East Neighborhood Association meeting. Next slide. As you heard, Councilwoman Bivens and I had the opportunity to visit the Netherlands and learn about their transportation initiatives. Those are a couple of slides from different sessions that we had. That middle slide is probably one of my favorites. As you know, bicycles are big in Amsterdam, and that is an escalator ramp that goes down to a bike parking garage with about 10,000 bikes in that particular garage, which is not the largest in the country. We learned that there's one that holds 25,000 bicycles. So it's definitely a different way to travel over there. Next slide. Here's a photograph of some of those those bicycles. On the left, I just want to point out we took some Mollies over there with us to give our Dutch friends, and they all kind of got in a tiff over who got them first. So Fort Worth was well represented on the trip. Next slide. All right, coming up, we have movie nights are back at Burnett Park. Don't miss Top Gun. Next slide. We have the Michelada Festival, and that is the perfect segue to invite my friend Patricia Castillo up to talk to us about that event.
Okay. I'm usually behind the scenes, so I prepared what I wanted to say because I knew time was limited, and I just want to make sure I communicate everything. Good morning, City Council members and Mayor Parker. Thank you, Councilmember Beck, for the invitation to be here. My name is Patricia Castillo, and I'd like to say I'm Fort Worth born and educated, being a student of Fort Worth ISD and a bachelor's and MBA from Texas Wesleyan. I'm quick to tell people that I use my education every day as the event producer for the Michelada Festival and executive director for nonprofit 501c3 Connect Respect. 9 years ago, I was in a group meeting with the corporate marketing manager, and I asked about a Michelada competition. In that moment, preparation met opportunity, and here we are hosting the 8th annual Michelada Festival, Fort Worth. They say God's plan is bigger than what we can imagine ourselves, and this festival has created ripples of blessings much bigger than I could imagine. So to that, my faith says, to God be the glory. 100%, which are represented here, just some of them, 100% of our food and Michelada vendors are locally owned businesses in districts that many of you represent. They tell me how the festival provides a nice Christmas for their young children, how they were able to buy equipment to grow their businesses, help them climb out of a deficit. And my favorite part is that being a vendor at this festival gives them the confidence to be at other events because they love what they do. Serrano's is the 2019 champion who because of the festival is a regular vendor at Texas Live in Arlington and have launched their second food business. Patiño's Micheladas are not here today, but because of the festival, they now have 2 locations inside Globe Life Park serving micheladas at Texas Rangers home games, and Delaware Concessions calls them their superstar vendor. And Olmos, just here. Yadira and Candelario are out of town right now, so this is Oscar Olmos. And Olmos, another success story I'd like to share. Micheladas Olmos is the only michelada vendor that has been with the festival since day one. When I asked Candelario Olmos and his wife Yadira to join the festival, he said, "Oh, this is something I do for my friends. It's not anything serious." And I said, "Well, you're about to get serious and do this with me." They won Best Michelada 3 years in a row, and it completely changed his mindset and their business. Today, they have 2 locations, distribute their mix in over 20 food and convenience stores where their bottles sell for more than $20 each. They employ their children, creating generational wealth, and their son Oscar oversees the distribution and overall inner workings of the business. They are very humble and honest people who recently built and moved into their dream home in Fort Worth. To that, my faith says, look at God. This is a grassroots community-driven event, more than just a festival. It's made possible because of tremendous support from the city, Cynthia Alexander, the events committee, all of you, Elizabeth Beck, and before Elizabeth and Zeta, when we first started out. We all worked together and put public safety first. To date, we have 0 arrests, 0 fights. We have 3 blocks, 2 stages this year, with plans for further expansion next year. And to that, my faith says, thank you, God. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you, Patricia.
Whatever you want to say.
Hi, my name is Oscar Lopez, son of Candelario Olmos and Yadira Olmos. We started off our business by selling micheladas at horse races way back in 2011. A couple years later, we won our first Michelada Fest, along with 2 more winnings after that. Opened up our first location right after the first Michelada Fest, and right away we got into distributing our product into many meat markets, carnicerias, and across DFW. With God first, hopefully we plan to move statewide in the next maybe couple years, hopefully, God willing. This Michelada Festival, it means a lot to us because it paved the way for us to expand our business, and it paved the way for a lot of other businesses to attend. The first year was only 5 of us, I believe, and then right away the second year it just kept growing, and now it's just a big thing that helps everybody out. So I thank Ms. Patricia for giving us the opportunity for that.
Thank you very much.
And you have award-winning Michelada mix samples that I've gifted all of you. So please enjoy.
Very kind of you. Thank you.
Mina Agua, non-alcoholic version, and then Estrella Jalisco, which is our sponsor. So
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much.
so go ahead.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Patricia. Next slide. All right, we have Fall Fest at Pioneers Rest. If you're not familiar, Pioneers Rest has some of our city's founders there, so I look forward to seeing you out there. And next slide. Last up, we have Arts Goggle 2023. You don't want to miss it, October 21st, noon to 10 p.m. I look forward to seeing you all out there and supporting additional local vendors at all of the upcoming festivals we have in District 9. Thank you.
Councilmember Blaylock.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is the last notice to mark your calendars for our District 10 Town Hall meeting at Texas Motor Speedway. It's going to happen on Thursday, September 28th at 6 p.m. It'll be at the Speedway Club Ballroom. We're really excited and we hope to see everybody there. And also wanted to take a moment and share that I'll be leading the city of Fort Worth, or representing the city of Fort Worth, with the Fort Worth Sister Cities trip to Tokyo, Japan, this coming week on September 30th.
Councilmember Blaylock, thank you. Councilmember Martinez, you don't have any announcements, correct? You do. Go ahead.
Are my slides in, or they didn't get submitted? Okay, then I don't, sorry.
I think that's the last of our presentations.
Mayor, next will be speakers on the non-consent agenda items, and I believe we have 2.
Thank you. Our first speaker is Rick Herring, followed by Adrian Smith.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Rick Herring, 1801 Bolton Street in Riverside. I'm going to talk really fast. Much is made of Fort Worth being the 13th largest city in the country, and we think of ourselves as being a great city, although size and greatness don't necessarily equate. In my opinion, and that of many others, one hallmark of a great city is a grand central library. And grand doesn't have to mean some huge classical building, but Fort Worth should have a central library that showcases our civic pride and that Fort Worth residents can be proud of. I fully supported the sale of the former Central Library site, and I'm not sentimental about losing that building. But I don't understand how the notion arose that the Fort Worth Central Library will be just another branch library in the city system, which I understand is the plan. I don't know how the library staff or the library board or the city council ever sanctioned such an idea. Even the City of Fort Worth library spokesperson no longer refers to a central library, but now refers to the downtown branch library. With the proposal before you and the MNC to lease the space for the new so-called downtown branch library, we will no longer have a Hazel Harvey Peace Children's Center or a civic auditorium or a grand space that says Fort Worth is a great city that values literacy and learning. If it's true that a picture is worth 1,000 words, then I hope this brief presentation of the libraries in the 25 largest cities in the United States will resonate with at least some of you. And that one's really cool.
That's cool.
And I wouldn't have spoken so quickly. I didn't know that it was going to run concurrent with my remarks, which is great. But anyway, that's why I was talking so fast. But Fort Worth needs a grand central library. We really do. And I know our society has changed from when I was growing up and even in my children's growing up years. But to me, a grand library is a hallmark of a great city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rick. And Rick, Rick, don't go away. Thank you. You're always very thoughtful in your presentations. I don't disagree with you. I think that this library staff has done an excellent job stewarding our next location for a downtown library when we decided to sell the central branch. And I think that moving forward, this council will get to kind of tackle those big policy decisions. It's probably obvious to you, these are very grand projects that are oftentimes city bond projects, and that would have to be something that's considered in the future. But just want to thank the library staff. Y'all done an amazing job trying to find us a location, as is property management. And we look forward to talking about this branch and several others that are in consideration across the council. As a growing city, you do need marquee projects, and you also need to make sure that literacy stays as a top priority for the city of Fort Worth. So thank you, Rick.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Next speaker is Adrian Smith.
What items am I speaking on?
You signed
Give me
up.
the item number. Give me the item number, please.
You signed up against 23-0608, against MNC 23-0810, and then also for the item we discussed earlier, which is MNC 23-0801.
Oh, that's so kind of you, Mayor. Thank you for reading that, Maddie. Okay, so let me just stick to one since you want to play this game.
Adrian, let me just say this. You've tested my patience.
MMC, I reclaim my time. May I reclaim my time?
No.
May I reclaim my time?
You're rude
May I
and
reclaim my
disrespectful.
time?
If you would like to speak, no, you are rude and disrespectful. If you would like to continue, I would love to have you speak, but every human has their limit, and I have hit mine. So if you'd like to continue for your 3 minutes, that would be just fine. Thank you.
Please reclaim my, thank you. MMC 230810. Again, a central library. So we go from owning a library to leasing space. Make it make sense. And this is the second, no, this is the 2 libraries closed under this current council. 2. Make it make sense. Please make it make sense. What's the explanation behind it? What's the explanation behind it? And Ms. Beck, you know this, the one that closed in your district, is now a disservice to the community because of how you all had decided to, where you all have decided to place it. But anyway, you all are doing what you want to do. Your thumb and your nose is up at the constituents, what you've been doing since day one. I don't know what it's going to take for you all to get it. I don't know what it's going to take for you all to get it. But guess what? One thing about me, I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping. You all are going to fall by your own devices. And Mayor, I'm not stopping. So I want the media that's present, please. we need to start having accountability, more accountability for this mayor and this council, because what they're doing with this city, they're running this city to the ground. Again, like the last caller stated, all of what the Central Library is losing, it just I can't put it into words. But Mayor, you know what? I will call in next week since I'm trespassed. My lawsuit is still in the works, like the other lawsuits you all are fighting against. Continue in your condescending ways, and yeah, I'm gonna leave it there.
That's the last of our non-consent agenda items. Let me just say for the record, since Adrian's probably listening, the reason he was trespassing and calling in by phone is he thought it was appropriate to curse at and scare the you-know-what out of our University Little League team that was here, about 11 and 12-year-olds. So that's where my limit was that day, and he's just gonna have a timeout and call in for his 3 minutes. But I think this dais deserves to have a certain level of respect, not for us as people, but for the jobs that we're in, because we are here to serve the public in the city of Fort Worth. So I'm very sorry that he's offended, but again, there's a certain level of decorum that Adrian has continued to cross over every single meeting that there is, and so he'll continue to call in, but he's not welcome in City Hall until we kind of set several behavior that I think is standard, especially among our children in Fort Worth.
Next will be changes in memberships on boards and commissions, with the first item 230622, appointments by the mayor.
Thank you. I've got a few here to change up. The first is a request for consideration to reappoint the following individuals to their respective boards with the terms effective September 26, 2023 and ending October 1st, 2025. Our first is Maria Capelicha, who is Aviation Advisory Board, second term. Ebony Rose, third term, Community Development Council. Sylvia Acala, second term, Parks and Rec. Matt Dufresne, second term, Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee. And Gannon Grise, third term, Urban Design Commission. And also request your consideration to appoint the following individuals to their respective boards with terms effective September 26, 2023 and ending October 1st, 2025. Caroline Kranz, first term, Plan Commission and Capital Improvements Plan Advisory Committee for Transportation Impact Fees. Josh Lindsay, first term, Board of Adjustment, Commercial Alliance Airport Board of Adjustment. And Melissa Scott, first term, Library Advisory Board. The respective applications are attached and resumes are provided, and the original copies will be maintained by the City Secretary's office. Entertain a motion. Yeah. There we go. Motion carries. Thank you.
Next will be 230619, appointments by District 2.
Councilmember Flores.
Thanks, Mayor. Mayor and council request your consideration to appoint the following individual, the term beginning September 26, 2023 and ending in October 1st, 2024. That would be Jackie Auger for a partial term, starting to serve on Park and Recreation Advisory Board. Her respective application is attached, as well as her resume, and the original copy will be maintained in the City Secretary's office. So I move.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be 230575, appointments from District 3.
Councilmember Crane.
Hello. I'm glad we're doing this today. We always need great people to step up and serve on our committees. Stephanie Musey is actually here. She is the current Ridgely North neighborhood president and does a great job there and has stepped up to lead here. So I have a motion here and a request for consideration to appoint following individuals with a term effective September 26, 2023 and ending October 1st, 2025. Stephanie Musey, first term, Historic and Cultural Landmark Commission. Respective application is attached to resume is provided. Original copy is maintained in the City Secretary's office.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for being here, Stephanie.
Motion carries.
Next item is 230621, appointments from District 9.
Councilmember Beck?
I'm requesting the second term of Tom Hicks to the Aviation Advisory Board, Eva Bonilla for a second term for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, Daniel Villegas for his second term in the Community Development Council, Douglas Cooper for his third term in the Urban Design Commission, and Andrea Garcia for her second term in the Library Advisory Board. And I request your consideration to reappoint the following individuals in their respective boards, terms effective September 26, 2023, ending October 1, 2025, and that's Catherine Duffy to her first term on Board of Adjustments, Commercial and Alliance Airport, BOA, Corey Malone to his first term of the Historic and Cultural Landmarks Commission, and Wes Hoblet, his first term to the Zoning Commission and Alliance Airport Zoning Commission. The respective applications are attached and resumes if provided. The original copies will be maintained in the City Secretary's office. With that, I make a motion.
Motion is second, please vote.
Next item will be 230608.
Thank you, go ahead. Michael. Motion on the floor, and a second, thank you. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 230609.
Entertain a motion, council. Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 230611.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 230614.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 230615.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
As a reminder, 230617 was withdrawn by staff. The next is zoning, ZC 23-049.
Thank you. We have two speakers on this item. The first is Jerry Curtis, followed by Steve Epstein.
Mr. Curtis,
I'm here.
please go ahead.
Mayor and Council, we have this problem piece of property, and if any of you are familiar with the area, you will understand why it's next door to a pipeline compressor station, which makes it almost unusable for anything except for the zoning category that we applied for. At the zoning commission, there was a motion made that was approved 5-1, which technically lacked the 6 approval votes, but the motion maker succinctly described the situation in that without a zoning other than the present single family, the property cannot be used. My client, Mr. Corona, bought the property expecting that if he could not get a rezoning for his business, then he could build a house on it under the current zoning. The church that sold him the property told him that, and a staff member in the planning department confirmed that. However, once we got into it, we find about all the restrictions because of the compressor station. Unless we get approval for this zoning that we've applied for, which is now I, he has a piece of property he can do nothing at all with that makes any sense. The staff has suggested ground storage. He thinks he can do something with that. We have another round of approvals. We have met with Homeowners Association and have not been able to meet with Councilwoman Beck because of her schedule. We had an appointment next Monday with her, but with this dating, we could not do that. We ask you respectively to allow him to move forward. The whole deal is not over, with approval, and we understand that. We hope the neighborhood understands that we're not against them. We just tried to do something with the property, whatever, that can be usable to Mr. Corona and be something that uses the property.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis.
Would ask for rebuttal time if we need it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Steve Epstein.
Hello, my name is Steve Epstein. Hello, my name is Steve Epstein, and I'm representing the Hallmark Camelot Highland Terrace Neighborhood Association. After meeting with the applicant and his representative, our neighborhood association voted unanimously to oppose this request to change the zoning from single-family to light industrial for several reasons. Our main reasons are: one, land use is allowed under light industrial zoning, such as outdoor storage, truck repair and storage, food processing, outdoor kennels, temporary batch plants, and on-site alcohol sales are incompatible with the existing single-family homes next door on Valera Court North and Sheridan Road West. These uses are too intensive next to existing homes. We're also concerned that the proposed rezoning is not consistent with Fort Worth's adopted comprehensive plan for our neighborhood. Separately, we recognize that the development challenges caused by the health and safety setback restrictions because of the line compressor site to the north of the parcel, but those setback restrictions were in place for many years prior to the applicant's recent purchase of the parcel. City ordinances have placed no additional restrictions on that parcel since the land was purchased. Because of the long-standing setback restrictions, no habitable structures are allowed as long as the line compressor is functioning. We understand that not even a restroom could be constructed for employee and customer use because of the setbacks. Separately, if the line compressor site stops operations in the future, then if this zoning change goes into effect, all land uses under light industrial would then be permissible. Finally, our neighborhood supports the research of development services and their recommendation for denial. Thanks so much for your consideration. Bye.
Thank you, Steve. Councilmember Beck, that's the last of our speakers on this item.
Thank you. I am going to move to deny without prejudice, and what I would encourage the applicant to do is reach out to our office and let us work with you and Development Services to find an appropriate use for that particular parcel land and help us get around some of the compressor issues.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-092.
Councilmember Beck, we have two speakers on this item. The first is Deanna Estrada, followed by Michael Tyson.
Go ahead.
Can I start? Okay, I didn't know if I was waiting for 3 o'clock. Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Deanna Estrada, and I am a Park Hill resident. My home backs to University Drive, which is in 300 feet of the request. In response to this zoning request, residents in Park Hill formed a zoning committee to act as an intermediary between the developer and the residents to gather and disseminate information. The committee was not designated to speak on behalf of the neighborhood. Therefore, I am here today to ask each of you to vote against the zoning request. My 2 points for opposition are aesthetics and traffic safety, which I was pleased to hear that the council members see an importance of how lights and safety of traffic and pedestrians are taken seriously. Park Hill is known as an established neighborhood that is dedicated to home preservation, neighborhood traditions, support of green space, and wildlife as we are back to the Fort Worth Zoo. The land in question has always been seen as an annex to our neighborhood. This property plan does not support the initial zoning designation, and there is no justification at this time to change it. It is still seen by the residents as a part of our community. I ask the council to continue that support, which it has longstanding, to oppose the zoning request. For traffic safety, University Drive only has one sidewalk, which is on the zone for the requested zone change that facilitates the movement of pedestrians and bicycles to the Trinity River Trail, which we had so much support and investment to expand that area. If a commercial building comes into this site, I fear that pedestrians may be hit, as well as you lose that beauty of that green space going into Colonial, University, Park Hill, the zoo, and the beautiful Trinity. Right now, traffic in University has always been congested with seasonal TCU students. We host many different events that come and utilize University, and it's important that we maintain that. Most importantly is that there is a light on University and Park Hill that only allows, with a designated light, to turn right or left. Just a few yards from that location where this corporate building wants to be established, there is no way, no safety, no traffic study that can ensure the residents of Park Hill and those located nearby that the safety of its citizens, pedestrians, vehicles can actually
Thank you. Your time
be
is
safe.
expired.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Strada. Our next speaker is Michael Tyson.
Good morning. My name is Mike Tyson. I live in Park Hill. I've lived there for about 20 years. And before resigning in April, I was on the Park Hill board for about, neighborhood board for about 15 years. And 2 of those years I served as president. I continue to be very involved in the neighborhood. I thank you for your time today to hopefully hear the overriding concern of most of our neighbors about this development, and that is public safety issues related to vehicle and bicycle traffic as well as pedestrian safety. We have continually heard from neighborhood leadership the city will absolutely require a traffic study to be undertaken and considered before this development is approved. Is this true? Certainly, the Zoning Commission's quick approval to change the zoning without traffic or public safety considerations indicates otherwise. I note the approval of this zoning change to commercial was despite the zoning staff's recommendation of denial. There are several points I want to clearly make today. This property is in a precarious location with many problems that developers of this property cannot change. It is immediately north of a very problematic intersection of University and Park Hill Drive. The subject property is situated on the slope of a dangerous S-curve where most drivers constantly exceed the 30-mile-per-hour speed limit. This appears to be the only stretch of University where there is no median or center lane dividing oncoming traffic. In addition to heavy vehicle traffic on University, the sidewalk along this proposed development is used constantly by people accessing the Trinity Trails on foot and by bicycle. their safety must also be considered. Traffic and safety concerns are further exacerbated by projected population growth, TCU enrollment growth, residential and commercial development between the river and West Rosedale. These concerns are significant, and I ask you as our city representatives to please listen to them. Any development of this property beyond 1 or 2 single-family homes should be contingent upon engaging a thorough, independent traffic and public safety study with its findings appropriately addressed. I thank you for your service to the city and for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Councilmember Beck, that's the last of our registered speakers. I don't know if you're going to have the applicant come up. I have a few questions also. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'd like to ask both Michael Bennett and Kyle Polson if they could come and just give us a, for the benefit of council, if you could give us an overview of what this particular project is, how it's going to be used, and what, if any, concessions have already been made.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and thank you for your service. I have the position of also being a neighbor. I live across University Drive from this site. My fear has been over the years that this site would develop as rental housing, which would bring with it noise and disruption and that sort of thing that an office building that we're proposing would not do. The office building is 16,000 square feet. It's 2 levels with a small conference level on a 3rd level. If you looked at the drawings in your packet, you'll see that it's lower than the houses that are on Winton Terrace West. We met actually a number of times with the Park Hill Neighborhood Committee, including one meeting on site where we agreed even at that meeting to make some further concessions to lower the parking lot. So the parking lot's about 18 feet below grade there. And if you looked at the site plan, you also see that we moved the building as far west as we could, as far away from the houses that we could.
Can you pull that up for me if you have it? Let's keep going, Michael,
Yeah,
sorry.
and we also left as many trees as we could possibly leave, and we did that by splitting the parking lot into 2 pieces, as you see there. So we feel like we've done everything that we could. I did everything I could personally for what I would want to see next to my house, and so we think we did something here that is a good use next to the existing neighborhood. These lots are only accessed from University Drive. Our client has tried on several occasions to actually market them as single-family homes. No one wanted to live there. The noise level is 75 decibels at 4:30 on a Monday afternoon. The city's requirement or the city ordinance for noise is 70 decibels. So it exceeds that. It's not a resident. It may be zoned residential. Years ago, when it was originally zoned that, I think it probably was a viable residential site. I don't think that it is today.
Kyle, if you could just give us an overview of the operations of what this particular building is going to do.
You bet. So we bought this property 9 years ago, and we came to P&Z with about a 35,000 square foot building for Gus Bates Insurance. We were denied quickly. So then we went back to the drawing board and drew 6, had an architect design 6 like Lake Flato type homes, and had Martha Williams, John Zimmerman, Ida Dewey. We had no interest. So then we came back in the last couple of years and have designed a building less than half of what we designed originally. And I think Michael's done a good job with lighting and size, but this is our building, my office and our little group. So we will office there. I've had 29 meetings with different neighbors. The last really open issue, if we could get a waiver not to have a dumpster and either have trash cans, but I know one of our neighbors to the north is concerned about the dumpster, and if I was him, I'd be concerned about it too. So we would like to get a waiver for the dumpster, but we feel like we've tried to accommodate all the neighbors. The 2 people that spoke in opposition, we never heard from them. Anyone that called or emailed us, we went and met with them in person, on site, or at their house, walked their backyard. So it's a tricky site. I don't think it's residential. This goes back to Joel Burns. So we've really worked methodically over 9 years, and we think we've come up with, thanks to Michael, a good design that's a compromise of size, lighting, noise. We'll leave at 5 p.m. when everyone's coming home from work. So I think it's a good compromise for the site.
Thank you.
Michael, my question maybe is probably for you. Talk about the tree canopy for a second and how you're preserving what you can on that site.
Well, for one thing, we pushed the building as far west as we could, so we're preserving the trees as a buffer to the neighborhood. And so each of those circles you see is an existing tree, and you'll see in the building footprint, we are having to eliminate some trees where the building footprint is.
Yeah.
We also kept the parking lot separate because had we connected them, it would have eaten up more trees and gotten further up the hill and would have risked more trees there. So those are the things we've done. The parking lots curve around in kind of a funky way to save some trees. So we've done what we can to save every tree that we can.
And then the ingress and egress of the location, I'm sure that your design has tried to play with what the safest location is for those coming in and off the site.
We have tried to do that.
Yeah.
And we've worked with engineering company Dunaway to help us look at those. And so I'm sure we're going to be working more finitely with TPW as we go through the process for this. It's right in, right out on both of those. It's about 40 parking spaces, so it's not a lot of traffic, and the use that they have planned for it is not going to be a lot of traffic. But you see a dashed line on that site plan that shows what we may do as a decel lane. And I want to assure the residents, I use that sidewalk to avoid Rogers Road when I'm on my bicycle and when I'm running. So I assure you, we will have sidewalks there. There are sidewalks there today, and we will maintain those. But we've shown there a way maybe for a decel lane, so that if you are coming into that, you can slow down, pull over before you pull in, which we think will be a good safety. But again, those details have to be worked out with TPW still.
Thank you. Lauren, I hate to put you on the spot, but if you don't mind, I was going to ask you about the construction on University that's not really related to this location. If you have a timeline of how that may coincide with how this development may also come online. Give her a second. She's trapped back there.
So I did a quick Google Maps search of where this is at, and we do not have an active project at this location. So, the project we have under construction right now is primarily in front of the shopping center. That should be completed here shortly after or before rodeo season. And then the next segment, which is primarily in front of the botanical gardens, that should be starting construction in about 1.5 to 2 years.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Any questions for Lauren, Elizabeth?
No, well, we said 40 spaces. From a traffic standpoint, because that seems to be a major concern, is the safety and the potential increased traffic to University. Knowing that there's going to be about 40 parking spaces, so maximum, 40 people can be there at a time, relative to big picture management, what type of impact do we expect that to have? Minimum, significant?
I anticipate a minimum impact, but as they said previously, the details will be worked out in the development process as we move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Through a traffic impact study.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
I'm sorry, Carlos.
Carlos, go ahead.
I think it was already answered, Elizabeth. That's what I was waiting to hear, if a traffic study was warranted or not.
And so you said there would be a traffic impact study as part of this process, correct?
Is that correct? Yeah. We'll see. I'd probably defer that to DJ if he's here. Is he not here? He's not here.
There'd definitely be a study on the design of the ingress and egress, for sure. I don't know.
You have to go back to the mic. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you.
University Drive is about 35,000 cars a day, I think, at this location. So adding 40 to it, I would be surprised if that's enough to warrant a full traffic study. But we'll definitely be designing to a very fine degree those entrance and exits to the project.
Thank you.
Great. I appreciate it. Y'all can sit down. I don't think I have any additional questions. To the neighborhood, I know I have received many emails, both against and in support of this particular project. I typically like to give the neighborhoods what they want, but I think that it's important that we do find an appropriate development for this particular plot of land. As much as we'd like to reserve green space, this isn't designated green space within the city of Fort Worth, and so we have to pick a type of development that I think works best with that particular property. I have serious concerns about placing single-family homes in that particular location.
I think Michael Bennett brought up the idea of them becoming stealth dorms or rental properties in that particular location. I don't think that's what anyone wants. But from a community and a neighborhood perspective, 2 homes kind of stuck out by themselves on a very busy street, I think is also a tremendous safety concern. If anyone has young children or grandchildren, getting in and out, playing in the front yard, running out into university is definitely not what we want to see in such a heavily trafficked area. And there are no other homes on University north of Park Hill that could provide a sense of neighborhood for those properties. And so I had the opportunity to work with Mr. Paulson on other developments within District 9. And I can say that if it were another developer and if it were another architect, I would probably not be inclined to approve that particular project. But I've seen the way that both of these gentlemen operate. And I know that not just their close proximity and being neighbors to the project, but also being local to Fort Worth and really caring about what we do for the city makes me much more comfortable that once this development is built, that Mr. Paulson will be a good neighbor. And if he's not, I can assure you I'll be calling him personally to make sure that we're rectifying that situation. And so with that, I move to approve.
You want a motion and a second? Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-139.
We have no speakers on this item. Councilmember Martinez.
So just want to speak to, this is a council-initiated zoning change from A5 to mixed use. It is already surrounded by
230792.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 230799.
Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 230810.
A motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 230811.
Councilmember Blaylock.
So I move that the Fort Worth City Council adopt the resolution authorizing use of power of eminent domain to acquire 0.288 acres in right-of-way easement from real property owned by SSGN Investments LLC. The land rights in the subject property are needed for the Avondale-Haslett Road project, a public use that will reconstruct and widen Avondale-Haslett Road from Willow Creek Drive to the eastern city limits of the city of Haslett at John Day Road. The property will be used for the widening and reconstruction the existing 2-lane asphalt roadway to a 4-lane divided concrete urban arterial. The property is located at 1205 Avondale-Haslett Road in this 5th edition, Block 1, Lot 1, City of Haslett, Tarrant County, Texas. The property interest to be acquired is described by meets and bounds and depicted by survey exhibits attached to this MNC communication.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 230812.
Councilmember Blaylock.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the Fort Worth City Council adopt the resolution authorizing use of power of eminent domain to acquire 0.080 acres in right-of-way easement from real property owned by SJJ Properties, LLC. The land rights in the subject property are needed for the Avondale-Haslett Road project, a public use that will reconstruct and widen Avondale-Haslett Road from Willow Creek Drive to the eastern city limits of the city of Haslett at John Day Road. The property will be used for widening and reconstructing the existing 2-lane asphalt roadway to a 4-lane divided concrete urban arterial. The property is located at 1321 Avondale-Haslett Road in the Bose Addition, Block A, Lot 6, City of Haslett, Tarrant County, Texas. The property interest to be acquired is described by meets and bounds and depicted by survey exhibits attached to this MNC communication.
Motion and a second, please vote.
Next item is MNC 23-0815.
Council. Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Mayor, that concludes all of the action items for today.
Thank council. That would conclude our meeting. Thanks for being here.